Have you ever walked through something so painful that you started to believe that it defined you? Maybe somebody hurt you. Maybe life blindsided you. Maybe you've lost somebody you loved. And suddenly the thoughts start. Maybe this is just who I am now. Maybe I'm the broken one. Maybe my story is just painful. If you've ever felt a hardship like this and tried, it's time to try to rewrite it. This episode is for you. I want to tell you, you're not alone. And horrible, hard things happen to all of us, and it doesn't mean it is who we are. And today we're going to unpack that.
Welcome to That Shit Doesn't Define You Stories of Hope, Season 4. This season, we're having the honest conversations that no one prepares you for. When you feel like you're failing, when caregiving drains you to your core, when your body stops cooperating under stress, if you're walking through a season that feels heavy, sacred, exhausting, or uncertain, you're not broken, and this season does not define you. Let's begin.
So I'm excited for you to be here. Thank you, guys. Jada and I are so excited that we're in episode 4, or season 4, not episode 4, pardon me, season 4. And we're excited for you to be here. Now, one of the things we've got to tell you is please like and subscribe. The people in the social media world who run things require that for us to get any type of exposure. So we really appreciate it if you could like, subscribe. But more importantly to our hearts is that you share this episode. I promise you, as I go out and speak to people, people are hurting. People need to know they're not alone. They need what we call the rubber meets the road. They need action steps in order to take back their life because they need to know that the shit that they go through isn't defining them. And they need to know who they are. So please share if you have somebody in your life that you care about. And if you have ideas for our show, please put them in comments. We want to know. Or if you want to dialogue with us, Jada tells you how to get in contact with us and at the end of every show. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to get your ideas. If you think there's something we could do better, we'd like to hear that. Or if you even like what we're doing, we'd like to hear that too. So, Jada, yay!
I
Season
know
4.
it's crazy, and the fact that we're like already more than halfway through Season 4 is just mind-boggling. This has been a very, I know you've said it before, but a very like cathartic season.
It is.
Um, for everything that you're going through. And I think a lot of people can relate, maybe not in the exact same way, but that they are going through something hard as well. And so I think that this has just been a really good season. I think it's been really special to my heart too.
That's good. I was a little apprehensive to do this season since it is really focused a lot about what I'm walking through. But I'm telling you, the more I speak at different engagements, I'm learning that, this is life. I unfortunately, for those of you who are just tuning in and are like, what is she talking about? Please listen to the rest of the episodes. But currently, my daughter is in hospice. And so I'm walking that. Our family is walking that. And we are learning a lot about ourselves. And it's a transformational season. We're learning about faith. We're learning about identity. We're learning about strength. We're learning about weakness. And we're learning a lot about momentum that I talk a lot about in my business podcast of how do you keep going. But in this podcast, I want to talk to you guys about just kind of what I'm learning and share my heart. And so that maybe the pain that I'm walking through can be of hope to you or somebody you know. Because I think, Jada, as I reflect, pain oftentimes whispers lies to us about our identity. It's not
Mm-hmm.
loud. That's the thing. It's subtle
Yeah.
and it's slow. And it starts to convince you of things that this is just who you are. This is just your life. This is how it's always going to be. And
Gosh, that reminds me so much of EMDR.
I know, I know.
I know you've gone through EMDR too, but for our listeners who don't know what EMDR is, it's eye movement desensitization reprocessing. And in that, whenever you're going through that with a counselor or therapist, they usually ask you, what does this painful moment say about you? Or what are you believing about yourself because of this painful moment or painful moments? And in that, you're reprocessing that memory to realize that, like, that doesn't define you, and, like, although someone may have hurt you in this way, that doesn't mean anything about you. And so what Athena's talking about right now is literally scientifical, and I could get so nerdy on that, but I'll leave it there. I just that just
No, but,
really reminds me of
can
EMDR.
you put a link to a really good resource talking about it?
Yeah, yeah,
And,
definitely.
I think it's time, Jada, we start reaching out to sponsors of therapy because I'm telling you, everybody needs a good therapist.
I mean, truly.
It's about you. Maybe our first sponsor ever is going to be a therapy group. I'm telling you,
Therapy
because
group. Yes, I will put a link to learn more about EMDR if that's something that if you're listening to this episode and that interests you in any capacity. I have found a lot of benefit from EMDR. I know Athena has as well.
yes,
And so I know a lot of other people have as well, but I'll make sure to link that. That way you guys can learn a little bit more about that as well. But Athena, I'll let it let you get back to it. Sorry, I just had to
no, no,
insert my
thank you
nerdiness.
for that because it's so true, right? Because here's the thing, Jada. Like I've been doing a lot of unpacking. And when I mean unpacking, you guys, I don't mean my travel bags because I'm not doing a lot of traveling right now with Savannah being in her situation, but I'm talking about emotional unpacking. And I was sitting with myself and I've been thinking, over the years, my life has been marked with things that most people would say could break someone. You know, I'm a 10 out of 10 on the ACE score. If you don't know what that is, Jada put a link in there. It's a trauma scale. And there's some sad statistics in there that I have had to fight through. But, to go through a 10 on the ACE score, which just basically means if you can think of the abuse, I have honestly lived through it, unfortunately. But by the grace of God, I got really good therapy. But then after getting lots of good EMDR therapy and spiritual therapy for me, then I had a daughter with severe special needs. And now I have a daughter in hospice. And I am walking through what I wouldn't wish on anyone, and that is watching your child pass away and losing a child. And I wouldn't wish that. And just recently, this is a news flash, but just recently, my husband and I have discovered that he is going to need to stay home full time. So we're going to lose an entire income in order for him to stay home and be with our daughter at the end of her life. And we feel convicted in that that is the right thing for us to do. But that means that's a huge financial piece too. And so as I'm sitting in this and I could very easily say, God, you had it out for me. Life, you have it out for me. Something must be wrong with me. I must have done something wrong in the previous life. You know what I mean? And people could look at me and say, "Man, that woman has had a tragic life, or she's had a hard life, or she is. I would never want to be her." That kind of thing. But something as I'm unpacking this, Jada, that I'm really learning, and I know this is going to be. I wouldn't wish my life on anyone listening or anyone I've ever met. But I'm going to say this, and I mean this boldly. I am so thankful for everything I've ever walked through and everything I'm currently walking through. I am not saying it's easy. I am not saying that it feels good. I am not saying that I don't secretly wish life could be easier. But I am saying this without going through some level of trauma, you can't build faith in God. You can't build faith in yourself. You can't understand your real capacity. You can't really see your resilience. And I hate this quote, but it's really important. But perseverance does create character.
Oh,
And I used to laugh, Jade, and say, I don't need any more character, you know, but I was wrong. I'm going to tell you guys the character development that am going through currently right now. I could be bitter, angry, frustrated, blaming, angry, but that's not what I'm choosing to do. Due to my faith, I have the strength to choose to ask and say, Where am I supposed to go now? What is the next chapter? Be thankful for every day that I had my daughter, understanding that I will grieve her for the rest of my life. I look at my childhood and I'm so thankful that it taught me things, opened my eyes to things, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat, it took a lot of therapy to get through the level of abuse, and a lot of God. But one of the beautiful things that is coming from all of this, and God is starting to open up some doors. I know that my business, athenacaptain.com, will flourish after, because I will be able to tell my story and be a conduit for God to share his love with people, but also to let people know they're not alone. Interesting enough, Jada, currently right now, 3 people have reached out to me that they have friends that their children are also in hospice or in the hospital, and asked me, "Hey, Athena, they're struggling more than you are, it seems. Can you call them?" And so I'm getting this privilege to be able to talk to these women and walk beside them even though I'm in pain. And that's beautiful. It's beautiful. And so what all of this is, pain and hardship isn't defining me as the girl who, should be this, or her life is broken, or whatever. The labels that come with all of that, those aren't the labels. The labels are, I'm gonna make it through and I will use what I've gone through to help other people, and if you're listening, I want you to know you're not alone. The emotions are real. It's okay to feel them, but there is light at the end of every tunnel. There is hope, and we do not have to add badges of all of this pain to us. The pain may be with us, but it doesn't have to define us.
That reminds me, I'm reading a book right now, and it is a Christian book, so if you're not a Christian, you may not like it, but it's, called, To Be Told, and I forget the author, but there's a lot of, like, journal prompts in the book, and I found it very helpful. It's To Be Told, God Inviting You to Co-Author Your Life, I think is, like, the full title. I can link it, but something that you're talking about, Athena, just reminded me. I was journaling on this 2 days ago, I think, and it basically, it's like a chapter all about how there is a defining moment in your life, or there are multiple defining moments in your life, and they may be tragic, but how do you take that and turn it into something beautiful, obviously with the help of God because it's a Christian authored book, but how do you turn that into something beautiful, and how do you not stay stuck in that? And anyways, I was journaling on that. One of the journal prompts was, what's that defining moment, and who was there? How did it impact you? And like, how has it affected the path that you're on now? And anyways, it was really insightful, and I've really enjoyed the book that I'm reading. I think there's 8 chapters and I'm on 5 right now. So, I haven't finished it yet, but so far it's been really helpful. So, in light of this conversation, I think that that is an applicable book I could definitely link.
Well, that would be great. And I wanna just encourage people that we don't have to be stuck. We don't, we can get through this one day, 1 minute at a time. That's what I'm doing. One day, 1 minute at a time. And I hope if you're listening to this, please do not think that I'm superhuman. I am not. I'm not. Now, my life has made it to where I've had to be very resilient, and I've used that, what I call faith muscle, right? I've built that. There's a lot of God, and it's a lot of the people that are around me. Fortunately for me, I have extremely strong, close relationships of strong, resilient people around me who would not allow me to wallow. They allow me to feel, be authentic, but not wallow.
Mm.
They open my eyes to things. And if I may share something, this is beautiful. I wasn't going to share this today, but I feel like I should. So my husband and I sitting down and realizing that he needs to stay home full time, that's a really big deal. Um, my husband is very successful and does well financially. And this is a career he's had for 15 years that he's giving up. And we'll have to start over in a new career once our daughter goes to heaven. That's a huge transition. And the loss of his income, that alone, Jada, could destroy a marriage and a family.
Yeah. I
It
definitely
won't,
financial is one of the I think it's either number 1 or number 2 reasons for divorce,
right? And
is
so,
financial
and this
struggle,
is a
so
huge hit
yeah.
financially,
Yeah.
huge. However, I was sitting down with my business partner yesterday, and he and I had a very long conversation talking about our multiple businesses in the future and all of these things. Very deep conversation. And my husband currently works for me, and he won't in a couple of months no longer work for me. But that being said, we were talking. My business partner looked at me, and I said, my husband is really struggling with working right now because of the emotional impact of watching his daughter die. And it is hitting him. He would be the first one to come on here and tell you it is hitting him 100% harder than he thought it would, affecting him more than he thought it would. And he is, I won't say he's ashamed, he's in shock of it. He's frustrated by it. He wishes it wasn't happening. And he didn't know, and he's blindsided by it.
Yeah.
And he's frustrated. And so I was talking to my business partner about that, and my business partner said, Athena, this is where especially as a Christian, but just as a human, this is where you can look at things differently. This is the wisdom from my business partner. And you guys never get to meet him or anything, but he's there. Um, and he said, your husband struggling to perform at work at the capacity we need him in this season makes him human. Him willing to give up his career to stay home and be and love and nurture your daughter while she's dying says a lot about his character. He said, so look at this, that God put a man that is human and struggling in his human form, but put a man with such enormous character that he would do for you what you really need in this moment. You I hope your readers or listeners see the you know?
Mhm.
Yes. Look at the beauty in that,
Yeah.
right? That's provision. That's a gift for me and our family. Yeah. Things are not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy on my husband's psychology to start from scratch somewhere after our daughter passes. It's not gonna be easy on our finances. None of that is going to be easy, but we are blessed. I am blessed to have a husband with the character to be willing to do that. And we are blessed that we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? We're going to figure this out. And so I think it's really important that when you're going through really hard things, if you can sit back and look at and say to yourself, where's the blessing in this? And what are the beautiful things I have going on in the pain? They're there. I promise you, they're there. I wish would have been able to see what my business partner told me yesterday on my own, but that's why he's my partner, right? Because he is a good Christian man and has different insights than I do and can see it from the outside and why we make a good partnership. So, you know, what is defining me can't all only be, right, the pain, the hardship, the struggle. It's got to be the relationships, the fortitude, the love, the companionship, the faith. Something for you guys to think about. And I will say walking this very difficult path right now, like my husband and I last night were looked at each other and he said, one of the things that we're going through could destroy us. I said, I know, but it's not. It won't. It won't. We will not allow it. It doesn't mean friction's not high. It doesn't mean we're not bickering and fighting a little bit more. It doesn't mean we're not human. It means we will persevere because we are not talking about the D word. You know what I'm saying, Jada? Like that's not on the table.
Uh-huh.
It's not on the table, you know. And we're just like, we're not going to allow this season to define our marriage, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to grow our marriage,
Oh, for sure.
putting a strain on it.
Mm.
Whoa. But that's real, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's real. So
Very real.
anyway, just me being honest with you guys, I think people look at my husband and I like, oh, you guys are just going through this so easy. No, we're not. We cry. We wake up at 3 in the morning. We're stressed. We bicker. We are fighting more than normal. We we do, we're worried. All of those things are real. But in the same token, we both are determined to believe in our faith, believe in our faith in each other, and continue to move forward. So
Yeah.
I hope that encourages you guys. I really want you guys to see, for those of you who are listening and know me personally, it's please know it's by my faith that I'm standing this strong. I'm not this strong. So important. So Jada, what are some of the labels that people have? And then can you like name it? Let's name this shame. And then how do we reframe it? I'm going to go into some rubber meets the road, but I want our listeners to really, I hope listeners that you're starting to see, hey, I'm having some of those tattoos that need to be removed. Matter of fact, I'm going to start using that. And I usually say uh, stickers, but last night in our Bible study at our house, my husband was like sharing something I won't share on here. And he said, I need to get God to remove that tattoo. I
Mm.
was like, I'm going to use that. I
I
love that.
love that. That reminds me, I'm like all about books today, apparently. That reminds me, my daughter has this book, and it's a really sweet book for kids, but also the messaging, even for adults, I have found value in it. But it's called You're Special, and it's by Max Lucado.
Oh, I love
And it's a kid's book, but it's all about like these wimics and how they have marks or dots or stars based on what other people, describe them as or see them as, and you have to, like, go to the woodworker, AKA God, and have those removed because you can't remove them on your own. Anyways, it's a really good book.
Hey, maybe we
But
need to send it to my hubby.
I know, honestly, I'm like, it's a really good book. It's, not super long, but, again, it's my toddler, I read it to her, and it's just a super sweet book, so I
I
love
love
it.
that. Well, you know what? I'm going to start saying it because last
Yeah,
night when he said, I need to have God remove that, I'm like, and that's good.
yeah, I
Hmm.
love that.
I do too. All right, let's
Okay,
name this
yeah,
stuff.
so naming the lie or the shame, so a trap that many people fall into is letting that pain become a label. So whether that's divorce, bankruptcy, you're abused, you're addicted, you're widowed, you're the parent of a sick child, the list could go on and on. Those are pains that do become labels, and slowly those experiences will start to feel like your identity statements, but they're not. Again, like Athena said, they are seasons and chapters in your life. They're not the title of your book. So, pain may shape your story, but it does not get to define your identity. So, how we reframe that is what's actually happening. When life hurts us deeply, our brains try to organize the experiences. So, we search for meaning in each of them. And sometimes the easiest explanation becomes this must be who I am. But the truth is something more powerful than that. You are not defined by what happened to you, you are defined by what you choose to become through it. Pain can make you more compassionate, more resilient, more aware, more purposeful. Not smaller, but stronger. The experience may shape you, but you still get to choose the identity that you live from it.
I love that. I love that. I have before I do the rubber meets the road, this really just
Yeah.
hit me. So my biological father was adopted, and he has chosen to make that a negative thing for him his whole life. He's in his or mid 70s now, and he has branded himself this tattoo that he was unwanted and purchased. And it's always made me so sad for him because this defining moment, instead of saying this other family wanted me so much that they loved me from day one,
Mhm.
he's chosen to look at it like I was sold and undesirable. There's a two different ways, right?
Mhm.
Two different ways you could look at that. And I've got to tell you, knowing the way that my father has lived his life, choosing to think of I'm unwanted and sold has greatly impacted a lot of his choices. And he has not lived a life that he has a lot of regrets. I will say that. And if I think if he could have reframed it right and owned that differently,
Yeah.
I wonder what it could have done differently for his life. So just something to think about, right? Like,
Yeah.
anyway, just I just I want every one of us to live the best life we can. I know life is not easy. Trust me. You're talking up the wrong tree if you think I think life is easy. But life can still be wonderful. Wonderful. So, all right, let me get in the rubber meets the road. I need to be quiet today. I keep tangenting. So the rubber
Hey,
meets
me
the road.
too.
Rubber meets the road. Number one thing, you guys, separate your story from your identity. Oh man, this is good. Hey Jada, can you put another book in there? We're
Yeah.
booky today.
I know. I'm
Um,
like, we got lots of books for you guys.
Living Fearlessly by Jamie, and you'll have to look it up. It's I'm forgetting Jamie's last name. If you like a Living Fearlessly by Jamie, and we'll have it in the notes. I apologize. It's a book I'm reading currently right now about finding your identity. And again, though, I apologize, it's a Christian book. So if that's not your faith, maybe that's not the book for you, but still put it in there. Awesome book. And I wish I could remember his last name. My dyslexia makes my names hard for me. But this is one of the things we have dug deep into this book is your identity is not about situational things you're going through or have been done to you. Can I say that again? That might be a mic drop. Your identity is not about situational things happening to you or things done to you. Please understand this. Your identity is who you were born to be. Your most beautiful self. Your not perfect, but none of us are, but your pure self. And so instead of I am broken, I am non-lovable, I'm unworthy, I'm a mom of a child who whatever you want to put it, right? Instead of that, reframing it and saying, I am a person who walked through something painful and still standing. I am a person of value. And because of what I've gone through, I can now help add value to others. Do you guys see the difference? So stealing something from my husband, let's not tattoo the hardships or bad things that happen to us and claim them that that's who we are. Very important. But first of all, I want you to do some reflecting and ask yourself, what are some of the tattoos that you have tattooed on yourself that you're holding on to? How can you reframe them and look at them from a victorious position and not a defeated position? Number two, rewrite your narrative. Ask yourself this question: what has this experience grown in me? Gosh, you guys, I hope you do this. Jada, this goes back to kind of like what you were talking about in your journal. But what this experience, this thing that has happened to me or situational thing, what has it grown within me? Has it grown empathy, strength, purpose, courage, faith? Ask yourself, what has it grown in you? And if it and can we be honest? If it's grown some negativity, lack of trust, some whatever, can we pull those out and let's go get some help for those? Because those negativity things, we wanna squanch those and we wanna focus on the beautiful things that it's taught us. Maybe it's grace for other people because you've gone through something hard. Your pain might actually be a soil where your greatest I can't talk today, greatest impact grows. Like I was telling you earlier in my story, I promise you I will come out of this season transformed and I will be a better version of myself. Not because it's not hard, not because I don't cry, not because I don't curl up in a ball sometimes, but because I'm choosing to look at how it can help me grow so that I can help other people and honor my daughter after the fact. So ask yourself those questions. Number 3, choose your identity on purpose. Say out loud, my experience is just part of my story. They do not define who I am. Please do this. It's just part of my story. It doesn't define who I am. You're still a leader, a creator, a parent, a dreamer, a fighter, person capable of doing something meaningful. You still have purpose. You still are valuable. You still are worthy. You still matter. Do not allow the circumstances or another human being who has hurt you to stop you from living your purpose. Do not allow them to rob you of what is beautiful inside of you. I'm not saying you don't have to walk a road of healing, but we don't have to surrender our souls to these people. This is important
Mhm.
stuff. And I hope you guys hear me. Again, this season is really personal to me. I hope it's helpful to you. And I can't encourage you enough, please. If this episode is helping you or you know somebody who needs to hear it, please share it. Jada, where do we go from here?
Well, before I get into where we go, I want to just give the listeners some closing hope because if you are walking through something painful right now or you've recently walked through something painful, we want you to hear this clearly. Your story may include heartbreak and your story may include loss. Your story may include chapters that you wish never happened, but those chapters don't define who you are. You are still becoming, you're still growing, and the most powerful parts of your story may still be ahead of you. Pain can shape you, but it will never define you if you don't let it. So, I'm gonna leave our listeners with that. But if you did enjoy this podcast, like Athena said at the beginning, for this podcast to have the impact we know it can have, we do have to ask you to like and subscribe. Give this a 5-star review if you found it helpful. But more importantly, to our hearts, again, please share it with someone that is going through something hard. If you're going through something hard, re listen if you need to. If you want to find us on other platforms, you can find us just about anywhere. So just search Athena Captain. She does have a pretty unique name, so it's hard to miss her. In the show notes, we will have our season 4 resource guide. It has goodies from the entire season. We have 2 more episodes this season, so you can go ahead and download it, get a sneak peek at what's coming next week and the following week. And then again, I will have all of those resources we talked about today. So I'm going to have the ACE score resource, EMDR resource, and then the 3 books that we mentioned. Athena, Jamie's last name is a winship. So I found that.
Yeah, yay!
You're welcome.
On that.
So we'll make sure that all 3 of those books are linked. And then last but not least, you do not want to miss the opportunity to get on Athena's pre-order book list as we're, talking about books. Her book will be coming out. So please get on that list if you want some exclusive extras and some bonus resources, all the things. But again, we want to leave you something serious. This is not your practice life. So don't wait for it to be perfect. Start messy, start scared. Just start because nothing's going to change until you do. So take one step toward the life that you want and dare to share it with us. We'll be with you every step of the way. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.